into the present. The reality, brothers and sisters, is that actually with God there's no time. Time is a creation, just like flowers are creations. Actually, God is timeless. And God, that means both dwells in time and outside of time concurrently. So to be able to say that we are called to dwell in the future is another way of saying that we are citizens of heaven, not this earth. Big mistake to understand that our address is only something that's on the front of a building someplace or on a post office box somehow. That's just not our identity. Our identity transcends time. Yeah. I'm still talking about humility. Humility is so powerful. It unleashes the power of heaven. Jesus said that the meek shall inherit the earth. Meekness isn't someone who is wimpy. Meekness is another expression of, I've released it all. I don't grab onto anything. And Jesus is actually, in that part in the Sermon on the Mount, he's telling us to think about the future, because the inheritance of the whole earth is going to be ours, those that have released their life into his hands. They get the title deed. Jesus has signed it on our behalf, and his name is our name because we're named after his name. The meek shall inherit the earth. The proud shall not inherit the earth. The aggressive real estate agent will not inherit even a neighborhood. Ultimately, nothing. See, power in humility. And God entrusts power to those who are aware that strength is in humility and not in assertiveness, and not in acquisition. Let the wise man boast in his wisdom, not let the rich man boast in his wealth, but let him who boasts boast in this, that he knows me. Yeah. So let the person who thinks he knows a lot of information and has a lot of degrees and can be able to tell you how to make money, how to be popular, how to win what you want to win in Las Vegas, let the person who tells you thinks they know so much, that person knows nothing. Because ultimately, if you don't know God, you know nothing. Right. Isn't that right? We should know that. We should know that. We shouldn't think, but gee, if I only had money, what I could do for the kingdom. Oh, what's wrong with saying that? Well, how do you know God? The order is knowing God. Knowing God. God's ways are really different than man's ways. We want, and it's good to want, the power of God in our lives. But we've got to know what we're talking about. We can't be like James and John and say, I'm going to send down fire on these people. They don't have the clear-headedness to know who you are, Jesus. Let's burn this village. And then Jesus says, you do not know what power you are of. Right. Do we know the power that we are of? Yes. It has a lot to do with humility and knowing God for who he is. Humility. Chief characteristic of Jesus. Because in humility is the unleash of love. Isn't that right? The humble person is going to be the person who's going to ask forgiveness first. Because it's the unleash of love. He's not thinking who's right and who's wrong. He's thinking, this is my chance to love. Another kind of wisdom. The humble person is going to tell the other people about the goodness of Jesus in their life. Yeah, but they may not understand. So the humble person, for instance, isn't thinking, are they going to understand everything I'm going to say? And are they going to think that I'm okay? And are they going to talk to me afterwards? They're thinking this. How can I love this person? Power. Whole different kind of power. Well, you mean you're going to measure the fruit by love and not effect? Well, yeah, I'll measure it by effect, by love. If I loved well, there's good effects. See how different it is? So many people feel like they don't have options because they haven't thought of humility. They haven't thought, well, could I love? Even though it might make me look like a fool to other people, it doesn't really matter to me because I'm not thinking about the world's frame of reference and where I sit and how I'm evaluated in this world because I'm a person who lives outside of time. My citizenship, my papers come from the cross. Jesus nailed my sins to the cross, and he now made me a citizen of heaven. My frame of reference is whatever makes sense, if it makes sense of the cross. Isn't that true? And it was Jesus who chose the cross because of his great love, yes, and because of his great humility, yes. And Jesus is saying to every disciple, you got to be just like me. You're going to have to choose the cross. You're going to have to love to the point of death. Luke 22, verse 24 through 27. Also a dispute arose among them, the disciples, as to which one of them was considered to be greatest. Wouldn't you want to be great? Yes, I'd like to be great. Jesus will explain what I mean. Jesus said to them, the kings of the Gentiles lord it over them. They wield power over them. You go ahead and you do that. You stop doing that, you start doing this. No, you do it my way. You do it my way within this time reference and the way I like it. That's what the Gentiles and the kings, that's what they think. Oh yeah, I'd like that kind of power. And those who exercise authority over them call themselves benefactors. This is for your benefit. And I will take care of you if you just do what I'm asking you to do. An employer can be like that. You actually could serve an employer only for money. And then you're just like the world. Isn't that right? It's like sometimes they call themselves bosses. You know, you don't have to relate to them that way. And then some people like to be related that way. But you don't have to. You could just love them. Ooh, different power. Verse 26. But you, disciples, you are not to be like that, Jesus says. Stop it, stop it, stop it. Don't think about who's greatest. Stop it. You're missing it. I'm training you here in love and in humility. Are you getting the lesson? You're not supposed to be like that. Instead, the greatest among you should be like the youngest. You know, like a child. They have no rights. They don't get to choose a lot of things. Parents kind of choose it for them. You're supposed to be like the youngest. And the one who rules like the one who serves. For who is greater? The one who is at table or the one who serves? Disciples, well, the one's at table. No. Is it not the one who is at table? But I am among you as the one who serves. So did I miss it, brothers? Jesus is saying. Because I'm serving. Did I do something wrong? I'm out of kilter with the world, yes. But I'm totally in sync with my Father. And when I talk about power, I talk about love and service, just like my Father. And you see, there's no greater one than Jesus. If we want greatness, true greatness is his greatness. Who said, I did not come to be served. We could say it this way, can't we? If we're doing it well. Would you like to be served in this church? Would you like to be able to be inspired? Would you like to be encouraged? Would you like a good child care ministry? Would you like better music? Would you like more convenient hours, more comfortable seats, with something that works more with your schedule? Or are you here to serve? Power in service. And you know the nature of the service is like Jesus. Because some people say, well, yeah, I'm here to serve. I have gifts, and I need to execute my gifts. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about serving like Jesus. See, Jesus he was a terrible teacher when he died on the cross. He couldn't teach anymore. No chalk drawings anymore. He couldn't give illustrations or parallels. It's all over. Healing ministry. Oh, gone. Not really, was it? He taught so well from the cross by his example. Oh, example is a gift. Yeah. He healed on the cross by giving up his life. Oh. That's what he's saying to his disciples. And he's saying to you and me that we should not be afraid of death and to give up our life, to release our life. And we inherit the whole world, the world redeemed, the world with the presence of God in it, when we release ourselves from the heavy burden of having to be better than someone else or for people to respect us. We know true power, and we know it's different than the way Gentile kings lorded over their subjects. So this is the perspective that a wise Christian understands. It says, 1 John 2:15, you know the passage, I think. Do not love the world. Don't go after it. Don't love the world nor the things in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that's in the world, all those things that Satan showed Jesus that he could have, all those things in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the boastful pride of life, is not from the Father. It's from the world. This desiring after things, to get stuff from people, from our positions at work, to get more. Well, that's not from God. Because it shows that we misunderstood what life is really about, doesn't it? That we're really missing the point. Because John goes on, he says, the world is passing away, and also even these desires that you have, they're going to end when you see the King of Glory. And you're going to think, what have I been giving myself to? Isn't that right? Yeah. Whoa, full stop into a wall. That, as far as we're careening down a particular avenue, succeeding, and then all of a sudden there's the throne of God, and what are we going to do with that? Right. There's not throne B. There's just only throne A. It says, but the one who does the will of God lives forever. How about a little tweak? The one who does the will of God loves forever. Because the will of God is all about love. Seeking to love. Not seeking to get. There's real power in there. I remember a long time ago, during the time of Jimmy Carter, that, if some of you even were born then, I don't know, but he was overall an unpopular president, though he's an affable kind of guy. But many people thought that he was inept, and especially when it came to his understanding of the military. And so he thought he would leak a secret so that people would understand, hey, the military is stronger than you think. And so he revealed a certain stealth jet that actually would be not recognized by radar, which is a totally stupid thing to do. You don't tell someone about a secret weapon, so now it's not secret anymore, to prove that you had one. Because once you tell somebody you have it, you don't have it anymore. Everything gets readjusted. That one, it cost them like $1 billion. Well, that's all gone now. But there is a way to go stealth with Satan. And there's something he just doesn't pick up on. When there's lust, it is desires to get respect, get more, live to get more comfortable, get more secure in this world, as if this is all there was. When there's that kind of signal being sent out on radar, there's these radiating beams that Satan picks up right away. And he goes, that's my kind of people. And he goes over there and he says, now tell me what you want. And he'll give you ideas how to get it. And then you become a prisoner of time and space. Then you begin to evaluate your life based only on time and space. How's it going for me right now? You're not thinking about love. You're thinking about how's it going for me right now. The lust of the eyes, the lust and pride of life. Satan just goes into that and really makes it very difficult for those people to see the Lord, to enjoy the Lord, to actually think that you could enjoy the Lord. It's got a foreign concept to them. But James says, submit therefore to God. Resist the devil, and he runs away in terror. First step, you have a fear of God. Satan's not it. Fear of loss of anything on the earth is not it. So you submit. As soon as you submit, you have the power to resist. You can't resist without submission. I mean, you can try. But if you're resisting for another purpose other than to submit, it just doesn't have power. So you can say, Satan be gone all the time. You can scream it. You can sing it. But if ultimately you don't want to submit your whole life to him, it's just like, you're shouting like, I rebuke you, Satan. And it comes out, I rebuke you, Satan. There's no authority, no power in it. And the evil one laughs. I can handle that, and I'll tell you how you can get what you want. You think I'm telling you the truth? Jesus went stealth with Satan. You know that. Because of his fear of God and his love for his Father. I mean, I'm never tired going back to the temptation narrative because it teaches so much all the time. So it's like Satan is saying, I just don't understand Jesus. It's past 40 days. His body is on the verge, if not already beginning to consume itself. he's not having just cravings for, like pizza or something. He would just like anything to eat that's anyway good. And I'm saying, look, use your power, make these stones into bread. And I think, man, that's powerful. What a great temptation that is. Because he could die. And there you are, right there, that fast. You're full, strong. And you can move on in your ministry, and you won't even feel weak. You'd be strong. And he just says no. He says no. That doesn't make sense to me. Really, you understand that Satan was confused. He wouldn't purposely give a temptation that he didn't think would work.
Right.
He just isn't thinking love. He's not tracking with humility. So he's thinking, well, I'm just going to do it like everybody else. But Jesus isn't everybody else. And he says, "Isn't that come up with this great idea? Maybe it even means he can avoid the cross." And of course we know it in the Garden of Gethsemane. He's talking to the Lord. Now, if there's another way, I'm open to hear another way. So obviously this is going to be an intense thing. And I'm connecting right now in this area of intensity, and I'm saying, Jesus, look, if you just went up to the top of the temple, all these people looking at you. And maybe what he's doing right now is a vision, but this will happen. We can follow through on this. This is just like, virtual reality, what it might look like, and I can get it to happen. And look, I suggest this. You go on the top, the very top of the temple, so everybody sees you, and you throw yourself down, and then, right from the clouds, these other worldly angels come. The crowds are seeing these angels swarm at your feet, and when you're just going to come down, they hold up your feet, and they gently put you down, and they're bowing, and light dazzling, and all the people are looking, and what are they going to say? Jesus, what do you got to tell us? We want to hear what you have to say. This is incredible. What is going on? Who are you? And look, I got you all set up. It's like, here's the whole platform, could make it so easy for you. And then he says something like, you don't test God. What's the deal with that? This is a good plan. But that's because Satan's not tracking with obedience. He's not tracking with love of God. He's not thinking, let's see, now what, Jesus is thinking, what is the loving thing to do here? And then this is how it computes in Satan's head. I'm hearing nothing. Not getting anything. Because he's not oriented that way. Another opportunity for glory to see all the kingdoms, like this is what you could have. And then, again, maybe no cross. But Jesus just says, you should worship and serve the Lord your God alone. And everyone's thinking, well, I'm giving him a place. I'm giving God a place. But no, not alone. But ultimately, when we begin to figure out our life, and it's not figured out from loving the Father and responding to his love, and learning how to fear the Lord, because you know what? He's the only God there is. And he's God, and so there's got to be some room for wow, way beyond all comprehension, this eternal one. What can I do but say yes to him? Because I'm just a speck compared to eternity itself. There's got to be a place for that. But with Satan, there's not a place for that. He has lost all perspective. He is the big deal. But see, in the strategy book, he's got all these ways that you can be able to gift what you want, and you can make your life easier. But the last page of the book, written in the Lord's hand, so to speak, you are a big loser. None of this is going to work. And you know what? Satan might know that. But he's thinking, what am I going to do now? My boat's already sailed. I'll just continue to act like a fool, and I'll get other fools to follow me. because I hate all people. They remind me of God's creation, and I just hate people. Here's the Message Bible in 1 John 2. Don't love the world's ways. Don't love the world's goods. Love of the world squeezes out love for the Father. This is the Message Bible. Practically everything that goes on in the world, wanting your own way, wanting everything for yourself, wanting to appear important, has nothing to do with the Father. It just isolates you from Him. The world and all its wanting is on the way out. But whoever does what God wants is set for eternity. So Satan left every encounter with Jesus confused, and that's what I'd like in my life, and I think that's what you want in your life. But you've got to pursue love, humility, and obedience. It can't be in competition with the stuff of the world, because the world has nothing. You know, it's like a race, and all of a sudden, in Preakness or something, or some famous horse race, there's this old nag. I mean, lucky that it can stand. Numbers of people losing perspective of who God is. They're putting all their money on the nag. It won't even make the finish line. They'll just die of a heart attack. The reality, brothers and sisters, is this. Everybody dies for something. And you're going to, what do you mean dies for something? Okay, I'll put it this way. Same thing. Everybody lives for something. There's not one person who's ever existed that doesn't live for something. Well, what are you living for? Most university what do you call it, curriculum books? Or not textbooks, but if you want to go there, they give you this book, and they tell you of all the things that catalog, something else like their mission statement. Let's say their mission statement. It all reads like 1 John 2, like that's not true. It doesn't say that the first thing that we do is we seek submission to God, because He is God and no one else is. And we're all about learning how to love Him as if He is the personification of love eternal. And so we need to understand that our love needs to be like His, so we humble ourselves. And we're all about serving, no matter what it gets out of life for us, because we have a life that's greater than this life. And if you come here, you'll be able to, I'd like to see even a Christian school have that. But you see, it doesn't grab people. I want to be somebody. I want to be somebody for God. And then it gets all twisted up. Just love Him. Love Him like He's your life. Stop trying to be someone and be someone. Just like Him. See, I'm walking in the future right now. So I'm walking in the future. This is the future. Jesus, you are Lord. Can we do that now? I mean, can we do that? I don't mean just kneel right now. But why don't we do that? Why don't we just kneel right now? Just so you can remember this sermon. You see, what you're doing is you are releasing your life for everything else. Right now, picture your picture kneeling before your esteemed peers right now. And take this picture and blow it up over your desk. Would that make sense? Could you do that? And if it was not clear enough, then what you have is just get a Photoshop of a big cross over your head and put that in your office. Why not? You see, we're living in the future. It says when Jesus submitted himself and humbled himself to the point of death, even death on the cross, it says, then God exalted him. Because then, you know the power of Son. You know the power of love. This is going to free everybody. And now I want to exalt you. And the Lord says, the Father says to his Son, every knee will bow before you in heaven, on earth, and under the earth. Even Satan will say, I can't deny this reality. If it's just even for fear of God, I must bow my knee. Jesus, you are Lord. But for us, Jesus, you are Lord, not in the end, but right now. Watch power flow as we live from our knees, as we release our life, as we make it really clear that we're not living for the world, that our citizenship is in heaven, that we've been raised up in and with Christ at the right hand of the Father, that we have perspective. Success is obedience, faithfulness, love, pursuit of being a servant, humility. And then we say, oh my goodness, I have wisdom the wise man does not have. I have wealth the rich man does not have. God's glory now is my glory. What greater glory is there? Father, we do humble ourselves before you and your Son. And we pray right now that your Spirit would just minister to our minds and our hearts and blow away lies and blow away fears. Fears, Lord, ultimately deny your love. But we say, Lord, we see your love. We have nothing to be afraid of then. We see your love. We have nothing to be afraid of. And we will choose this position in our heart of hearts. And we'll say, Lord, I just want to be like the younger. I just want to be a servant. I just want to love people and release my life that they might experience your love. Spirit of God, I want the power of God, not the power of man in me. I want the power of God, the presence of the Lord to come in and through me. Lord, you can do this. You love so much. You love me, you love others. And Lord, I'm saying, I know now. I know what makes sense. I know I'm not like the rulers of that age. If they would have known who Jesus was, they would not have crucified the Lord of glory, because they were so stupid when it comes to the wisdom of God. But Lord, I know. I know. I will not crucify the Lord of glory with my life. I will lift him up, and I will lift him up knowing what he's done for me, and I will give glory to him who knew what true love and glory was all about. And so, Spirit of God, make this more authentic in my soul. For the lust of the flesh, give me the desires of the kingdom. And help me to rebuke every fear that would dare command me to stand in the presence of the Lord. Give me the power to rebuke every fear that would call me to its command for what one would get in the world. And Lord, I know true treasure, and I declare your Son is Lord. And I am so glad. It is my praise, my worship, and my heart's desire to do this in eternity. We bless you for blessing us in this way. Amen. We can be seated.